Today we have Alkan on the podcast, and he's going to take us through the journey from starting his business to 50 employees to now 30 employees. And to get us started on that journey, tell us a little bit about your start in Turkey.
Yeah. So I started in 2007. I graduated from an American university in Turkey. I just did my undergraduate was mechanical engineering, and then I went to Canada, Montreal, for a master's study there. I did a bunch of like this computational fluid dynamics kind of thing. But I always wanted to start my own business. So in 2007, I moved back to Turkey, and at the age of 24, I started a company, and that company was a consultancy company. So, so it was, ironic that, I was at the age of 24 and I was going into a consultancy business. So of course, no one wanted to kind of, get a consultancy from a 24-year-old, right? So I was like, trying to find some services that I can offer so that I can make a living. So at that time, I realized that the only thing that I know was a kind of a professional student. So I knew kind of making some project documentation. I need to write how to write master thesis. So at
Ah,
that time in Turkey, there was a European Union funds for research and development of companies, and so they were trying to incentivize the industry to just make just conduct some research and development stuff. So but they lacked the caliber of people there to prepare this kind of proposals. So I just found that way. So I that was my go to market plan, that I just reach out to people, to companies, saying that, so hey, look, so I can prepare this proposal for you because I am actually a good student. I graduated from a good university. I knew how to write this kind of things. And I just, my first kind of business was something like that.
makes a lot of sense. I like the approach of enough knows. Just get like, try something, doesn't work out, try the next one. It's the same thing, the same story of the light bulb. Edison tried it 10,000 times until he found the one that worked. And this sounds similar to that. Because, like,
Yeah. Yeah, but before that, I tried many things. Of course, I just I tried to sell. So I thought that, so okay, so maybe I can help some kind of export the operations of some companies, because I lived abroad. I knew a couple of languages, English, French, and things like that. So I thought that maybe I can just help Turkish companies who sell their machinery, some industry products to abroad. But it was not successful at all. I remember I went a lot of factories. I visited a lot of factories. I didn't know anything about manufacturing, but I was going and I was trying to learn what they produce. And then I was saying that, so okay, so how about what would you think if if I could just sell your products, export, and get a commission? Of course, everyone says yes, but
yeah, why
we
would
don't
you?
want to pay you. Yeah, we don't want to pay you. Of course, if you sell, you can get your commission. It was a no-brainer. But it didn't work out. So I tried that. I tried creating a website of kind of it was the name mustaribul.com, which meant that just find customers.com kind of thing. And people were able to put their stuff. It was 2007, and it was free. People were able to put their kind of maybe listings, maybe some machinery to the platform, so they were able to just trying to find some customers. I tried that. It was not again successful. Maybe I didn't pursue too much. So at the end of the day, so I came up with this idea that I just told you about, and that started just taking off. So I went from there, and my consultants business were there up and running.
Yeah, it's the difficult thing is getting your foot in the door most times.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So the determination and the energy just helped me just go over this kind of things. Yeah, it was hard.
So, what's some of your most ridiculous rejections that you got? Things that just made you wonder, like, what is wrong with these people?
Yeah, good question. So I realized that with this proposal, kind of this R&D project proposal writing, they were reluctant to pay me up front. And it would make sense. This kid maybe is still gonna. I mean, the trust issue is always there, right? So one kid just comes to you and he looks young, and he's talking about some things that they don't understand. So there were some trust issue, of course. And generally, I realized that some of the companies were trying to make use of my passion, of course. That even I just gave them the proposal, they again didn't want to pay me. So, but I never, prepared something without getting any money. So I was also, strict on that at that time. I was strict on that. So it was like a, thought of war kind of thing. So, yeah. So the ridiculous thing was, I think, yeah. So the rejections were generally like this, and also this. We know our business better than, of course, you. Who the heck are you that you will come and just give us consultancy? So what do you think you are, kind of thing?
Yeah, I've heard that one a lot. It's like sometimes you really want to be a smart mouth, but you have to be professional.
Right. All right.
Like if you guys really knew your business that well, I wouldn't have noticed that you're in trouble, would I?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. So yeah, I mean, they of course lack of some of the people were lacking of the idea that an outsider can bring a lot of new thinking, and because if you are into something, you are getting in details kind of thing, and you aren't able to maybe realize obvious things that are going wrong. So but when an outsider comes to your company, and they can tell a lot about things that were obvious, but the founder or the management didn't even realize. So I mean, yeah, that always happens. And my thing was, actually, I was so young, so I understand that they just have a lot of suspicion about our capabilities. If I can really create some value for them, I understand that.
Yeah, I think at that point, it was probably even harder because it's becoming more and more normal that people my age and even younger are doing business and also doing well in business. One thing I wanted to ask you about was why you made the choice to move from Turkey to America.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So it's a kind of about setting the scene, what I call. So there's a very good description of luck. So I think it was James Austin or some professor in 1970s just came up with a kind of a definition of luck. So according to that professor, there are 4 types of luck. One of them is blind luck, they say. So blind luck is like you don't have any control over it, where you were born, what if your parents are wealthy or not, or geography that you're in, kind of thing. So pure luck. And the second luck is luck coming from motion. So if you start moving, you just generate some luck, right? You go to you just reach out to people, you just talk to someone, you just go to networking events, you are increasing your luck exposed area, actually. So you're exposing yourself to more opportunities. And the third type of luck is about luck that comes from kind of your knowledge, your experience. Okay, so when you're in an area, if you focus on a field, you just gather more information, and you just start realizing some small opportunities there that creates luck. And the fourth type of luck, they say that it's a kind of a unique luck that is unique to you, a luck that is unique to you, your profession. So an example would be, if you're an AI expert, let's say, in this environment, right? So that luck comes to you rather than you chase your luck, because you are the expert, and people will find you because of this expertise. So I didn't know that kind of lucks at that time, but I always knew that whenever you expose yourself to an environment that full of people more smarter than you, you will definitely not lose, but earn more, learn more, you improve more. That always happened to me. So that's why actually I wanted to increase my luck, my success luck. And I wanted to expose myself to the best or smart people, more open-minded people on the planet. So that's why I came to the Silicon Valley. And it was 2015, so it's been like 9 years. And do I still think that I did a good decision? Definitely, 100%. 100%. So just being in the environment, exposing yourself, is just something that you increase your luck, which is I suggest all young people doing similar thing. And I still try to be open-minded, try to expose myself to new ideas, new people, new advancements, new technology, so that it just creates a lot of opportunities that generally you can't generate that by thinking or while sitting on your desk. You need to expose yourself. But of course, right now with all this, like we have a lot of podcasts, a lot of books. Of course, it's easier right now. Even you are not physically in some places, you can again just try to create a good bubble around what you watch, what you follow, what you read, kind of thing. But physical presence also, I think, is important. That's why I moved here. Yeah, to the US.
So I love that you touched upon how it's different now than it was back in 2015. I think COVID did made us progress a lot further than we otherwise would have when it comes to that. Yeah. But as you mentioned, we are still physical beings. We don't live on the internet or in the cloud or in the metaverse, even though some people try to. You still have a physical body, so that definitely comes into the environment lock, as you spoke about. Talking to COVID and something I alluded to in the intro, you mentioned to me and Mike, you went up to 50 employees and then down to 30. I'm curious of why that process happened. You alluded it was because of the pandemic to some extent.
Yes. So, so before pandemic and during pandemic, actually, the people were more. Maybe the companies were. I don't know. Maybe they were more efficient, or the cost of having employees were not that high at that time. And pandemic changed a lot of things. So pandemic actually changed how people see their job. And of course, remote work kind of came, and companies also realized that. So they need to just trust people that they are really working. Of course, some of the companies just try to make some kind of policing stuff, like they were tracking. They installed some tracking software to their computers. They wanted to track people. So it was again, and people were not actually what I realized is that people after pandemic, actually people were less kind of enthusiastic about the work generally. That's what I experienced. They were like, maybe they wanted to spend more time with their families, which makes a lot of sense, and they weren't like kind of pushing hard enough as they did before pandemic. So that's what I realized, what I experienced. Maybe some companies may experience different things. So at the end of the day, the total output was not enough to sustain our operations as a company. So rather than laying off, actually, when someone and it was the like a big kind of people were leaving their jobs. A lot of this happened, as you know, and they were just quitting. And the same thing happened to us, but instead of when someone quit, instead of replacing them with someone else, we didn't just replace with someone else. So we just we just organize ourselves in more kind of in an efficient organization, and that's why actually it came down to the maybe close to the half of our employees actually just quit. And yeah, we did a little bit layoffs too. I mean, not all of them just quit by themselves. But yeah, at the end of the day, right now, we are efficient, and we just generate the same revenue, maybe higher revenue, by the way, with that amount of people, which is very, very interesting. Yeah, a lot of companies do a similar thing.
I know Mike's investment brain is, ooh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting actually what's happening right now. Yeah.
It's fascinating how a well-run company will do more and get more production. These people are more motivated. They're more motivated because they're being treated well.
Yeah,
it's almost like you could tell this to people all day long, but very few business runners actually get it. So, what are some things you did to help your people understand how valued they were and to unleash that productivity in them?
Yeah. So actually, we tried to switch from. I mean, there were some employees that we hired before that weren't supposed to be actually in our company, because when someone comes, and generally what I mean, if it's a hardworking, it's just forward thinking guy, actually all the organization go forward. But when someone comes that is more kind of pulling down kind of thing, slowing down things, all organization, I mean, it just affects in a bad way. So we realized that there were some employees that we wanted to part our ways. So we just actually part our ways. Some of them quit themselves, but then also we also part our ways. Those kind of people, and the hard work and the kind of more willing to work people were happy. They were a little bit scared, but they saw that there is a kind of like a justice at the end of the day, the management, that they value the because some people are like they are just giving a lot to the company, and they want it to be seen. And when you have some other people that are not doing similar maybe work like them, so they wanted to they started judging the management. Okay, so they also don't like those kind of people, but at the end of the day, the responsibility belongs to the management. So if management just takes the necessary steps, and when they see that, we of course we just promoted those kind of people in our company, even they were young and they hadn't that kind of experience on the paper. We still promoted them because of their effort and because of the results that they are getting. And this is also seen as a kind of a good sign and we give promotion, we give some bonuses to them. And right now we are working on some kind of other package, kind of benefit packages that still show them that we value their work. We are not making use of taking advantage of their extra effort, but rather we are just wanna just promote that kind of behavior. So we are trying to show this kind of things to our employees.
I'll definitely relate to the one with bad employees pulling down the whole team. I remember we had
Yep.
someone. I was a manager at that point, so it was partly on me, as you mentioned, but I wasn't the one calling the shots. I could only put in a word. But I think they only showed up for like half of their shifts or something at some point, like at some months. And at some point it went on for so long. I was like, everybody here must think they can just call in and nothing will happen, because clearly it doesn't. But there was this was just during COVID, so there was over here a shortage of employees. So you also had to be very careful of firing people, because otherwise you overwork your team. One thing, another question I wanted to ask. This is as much for me and Mike. You've been in the B2B market, as far as I understand, for most of your career. What is some of the things you have picked up that works when you're selling to another business?
Yeah. So B2B market is actually, you need to have some kind of a professionalism. That's what I think. So instead of going like, so you need to have a good website, you need to have a good operation, you need to have a good marketing material that resonates with this, B2B purchasing departments. If you sell small, medium-sized companies, you may be okay, but if you go higher on the corporate level, they need to see this commitment. They need to see that this company is gonna be all around. They're not gonna just die in just a few months. They need that kind of stability. So you need to show that stability if you're selling to B2B market. So how you do that is actually you need to have, again, like the perception that you're giving to your customers should just align with that kind of trust and commitment thing. So and I always actually play it that way, because my company is 17-year-old company, consultancy company. So we have a history of of course creating that history was so hard. Of course, in the first days you don't have anything, so you need to just cherry pick people and convince them, even you don't have any reference, even you're just doing your first job to them. So I always say that there's always your first customer. There's always some people will pay you, even this is the first time that you are doing this job. But your job as a founder or entrepreneur is to convince these people and be pretty open about it. One, of course, you're not gonna make a lot of money, but then you will have a kind of a use case right now. Then you can use this case to just sell more to maybe your second customer and third and fourth and so on. So you need to have kind of sacrifice the first your customers, your maybe price or your money that you're making to build some kind of reputation. So building that reputation and having a good sense of professionalism on your website, on your proposals, on your team, and everything will be kind of will facilitate your success in the B2B business area. So that was my actually takeaway.
Another thing I have to ask, like getting that first customer, like how would you go about getting your first customer if you had to do it today? Start all over.
Yeah.
You have your knowledge, nothing else.
Yeah, good question. So what would I do? So there's a really good book about this. So it's called Traction. So it's written by the founder of DuckDuckGo search engine. I highly recommend that. So in his book, he explains these channels, okay, sales channels. So how you get your first customers, what channels you can try. So I think I remember, like he was saying 19 channels or something like that, including, of course, your SEO, search engine optimization, Google Ads. But he also mentions non-traditional marketing channels, like for a kind of a tech company, a tech product. He also mentions about going local published media, billboard ads. So he basically in his book he just says that you need to try these channels first. Whatever works, you need to double down. You never know which one will work, because maybe 10 years ago SEO was new, and maybe you could just generate some content and it was easy maybe to just being in the first results of Google search. But right now everyone knows that, everyone knows kind of Google ads, everyone knows how to do social media ads. So you have a lot of competitors. So you need to innovate, actually, depending on your industry, depending on your knowledge. But at the end of the day, you gotta try. I would try a lot of things, and the hardest part is that. So you're gonna try a lot of things and you will fail. Maybe 90% of them will not maybe work. But again, in his book, he says that generally speaking, there is only one or two growth channels that actually companies grow their business at the end of the day, not 19. So you will find something that works for you, maybe affiliate marketing, maybe networking kind of thing. And you need to double down on that. And then it will just bring you some, scale of your business up to some point. And after that, you again try new channels. Maybe maybe search engine optimization may work if you're in a certain kind of scale, or if you have money, maybe you can go for the Google Ads after a certain point of time. So it's a really interesting and good book, and I read that and I also implemented that. And also it's about Paul Graham's essay. Paul Graham is the founder of Y Combinator, which is a very popular accelerator and maybe the best one in the world. So Paul Graham's essay, I think in 2010s or something, he wrote a very good essay that for people just starting up, he said that do things that don't scale, which is a remarkable advice, because all of us think about scalability, of course, if you're a tech entrepreneur. Okay, so you're not, and generally speaking, for instance, my product right now, we sell $39 a month or $89 a month. It doesn't make sense to just go chase for one customer, right? And I spend more about my time. But what he advises, you need to do it. You need to go and bring those customers first, and then you need to learn from them. So do things that don't scale is actually, you can just give custom integration, custom things. But actually what you are doing is actually you are honing your product. You're trimming your product value proposition, actually. And it's also in the Steve Blank's book, 4 Steps to Epiphany. Again, it's a very great book. It's about customer development. He also, says a similar thing. So you need to have kind of you may have in an industry, for instance, my company, MailSoftly, is in the email marketing business. But there are some, positioning, how you position your product is actually by talking to your customers, right? So that's why you should do things that don't scale, so that you can come up with some positioning ideas. maybe existing solutions may lack some, features that maybe your product can just deliver, things like that. So it helps a lot. So I would recommend going things that don't scale, which is right now. I still do like networking events. It when you look at the paper, I spend, of course, more money to maybe get a customer, but that's fine. At the end of the day, we are trying to find this working channel, and then we can double down that, and then we can focus on the efficiency. Right now, we need to focus on, at first, if you are starting out, you need to focus on the functionality, if it works or not. You need to be in the discovery mindset rather than efficiency mindset. After you discover something, you can go and, you can just analyze your, like maybe cost structure. You can analyze your maybe activities, and then you can chop off some of them, whatever works. And then you can just, focus on the efficiency side.
Yeah, there's no reason to try and make something efficient that doesn't even work in the first place.
Yeah.
That's an even bigger waste of time.
Yeah. That's the counterintuitive thing, by the way.
Yeah, it's totally, completely counterintuitive until you really stop and think about it. If you can't make it work as a custom, non-scalable one-off, then focusing on scalability makes no sense.
Definitely.
So, Mike, do you have some questions for Alkan before I sign us off?
No, I think this has been really good. And Alkan, you've given us a lot of good stuff. I hope our audience is really paying attention. We try to bring people on the show that are successful because our audience is mostly entrepreneurs and startups. So I hope all you guys and girls out there are paying close attention. Read the book he recommended, read the essay he recommended, and go find something that doesn't scale and try to sell it to somebody.
Yeah, you saw it. Even me and Mike had to take notes this time.
I did.
So you better have as well. Thank you very much for coming on, Alkan. It's much appreciated. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
For sure. Do you want some links down below for us to link so people can connect with you?
Yeah, sure. My LinkedIn link. We can give my LinkedIn link, and they can just reach out to me. You can just get connected on LinkedIn.